Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody remember that commercial? It's Hump Day, everybody. Yes. And it is also, I guess this is Hump Day for the year. We have officially crossed over the halfway mark for 2020. Yay! It's Wednesday, July 1st. Welcome to the Cabin Fever Podcast, everybody. It's Brent Bailey, and I'm joined today by my lovely bride, and she's doing a great job over there being the director as we're on vacation. And we're still doing the show simply for you. Back me down just a little bit. We are so glad that you're with us today. We have a great show for you. Jody's with me, and we are at Northern Command, as my dad likes to say, in this great the bluegrass state of Kentucky. And got a great show planned for you today. I have with us on the program today Jefrey Paul, and you're going to love hearing from him. He is the founder of Wigs for Kids in up near the Cleveland area. And so we're going to be bringing him out in just a little bit. He's got an amazing story to tell, and his foundation is doing some amazing things for folks all around the world. And so I can't wait to get him out here in just a few minutes. But before we do that, Jody, there's a lot going on in the world right now.
There really is.
We get to the point where we talk about things every day. We had a really cool night last night, didn't we?
We did. It was awesome. Thank you to you and being.
Yes, pat me on the back. Everybody,
well, that's what
pay attention.
You need to do, right?
But right now, people can't go to the movies, and so
movies are such a big deal, especially in the summer. Blockbusters.
Yeah, we're squarely in the middle of it right now. We should be. We should have already went to see Black Widow, and we should have.
Not quite Wonder Woman.
But there's, we were talking about there should be a Ghostbusters movie out already this year, and so we're in the middle of blockbuster season. We have not been able to go to the movies, and we live very close to Disney Springs, that has one of the biggest AMC theaters with the Dolby Premiere sound and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Your chair shakes, and we haven't been able to go.
No, we haven't.
So it's kind of been going through withdrawal, but we did something pretty cool last night.
We did. You want to tell them, or you
or
want me to
you
tell
go
them?
ahead.
So
I should sound like I'm bragging if I do it.
So we brought a big screen, not a TV screen, but a big movie screen, a projector,
screen,
and projecting, whatever it's called. Anyway, and we've been to lots of resorts in the world, and a lot of times during the warmer weather they have movies out at the pool or movies on the beach.
Yeah, while you're swimming.
Or whatever. And, people bring their lawn chairs, and it's a lot of fun. And sorry about that. That's pretty much what we tried to create last night. Big screen, movie screen, and a projector, and
sound system. So we sat in and around the pool last night at my parents' house, and we watched Jumanji.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids in the family hadn't even seen it, so we watched that, and it was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was kind of scratched the itch a little bit of not being able to go to the movies. So
we're going to be doing that every night.
We didn't get popcorn though, so I don't know why we're going to have to work on that one for tonight. We didn't have popcorn
late.
and.
Everyone was full from dinner.
That's
probably.
true. But we didn't get a lot of, every time my kids go to the movies, our kids go, they always get, have to get an icy or a Slurpee or something like that. And if you live anywhere close to a 7-Eleven, I know that every July 11th they do free Slurpee Day. And they're not doing it this year because of COVID-19.
Right.
But they are offering an alternative. So all of you 7-Eleven faithful, here it is. If you have the app, the 7-Eleven app, and you're part of the royalty rewards program, or not royalty, loyalty rewards program.
Whatever it's called.
Only if you're blue bloods, you can get, no. If you are a loyalty rewards program person, you can get a coupon in the app that'll allow you to get a free 7-Eleven smoothie, or a Slurpee. All month long you get one, but you get all month to use it, so you can go in and get that. But then, speaking of apps, it's pretty cool. Taco Bell is also offering free chalupas through their app. Now, they're having problems. So many people jumped on board with that it crashed the app last night. So they're working on trying to get that figured out. but those are kind of cool freebie things for you. So.
And you know what? There's a lot of those fast food places that do offer that. Every once in a while, like Chick-fil-A, I'll get an email that says, you know, you get a free chicken sandwich. I mean, just because. And I mean, just because you're a loyal customer.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
check that out. Some of your favorite fast food restaurants.
Speaking of that, and I don't know if you saw this today, but USA Today had a survey of the favorite restaurants and favorite fast food restaurants all across America. And now these are all chains, unfortunately, because, you know, not everybody has access to places like STK and cool stuff like that. So what do you think the number one chain restaurant was? What do you think it was? Just now, these are sit down, take your order restaurants. What do you think?
Cheddar's. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. Oh. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. That's just, whoa. That's number one on Brent's most hated list.
Most hated list. I don't know.
Longhorn Steakhouse, number one. Number two, Texas Roadhouse.
I was going to say Texas Roadhouse.
Now, this one surprised me. I figured this would be, but I guess this is more south. Cracker Barrel, number three. Yeah. Olive Garden, number four. Red Lobster, number five. Those are the America's favorite sit-down restaurants. Now, check this out. What do you think for fast food? What do you think?
Well, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, number one. It's the Lord's Chicken.
It is. It is. Number one.
And the Chipotle Mexican Grill, number two.
Wow.
Arby's, number three. Domino's, number four.
Really?
And Dunkin', number five.
Really?
That's the survey.
Huh.
Don't necessarily agree with all of this.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree either.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Well, we were talking about it before, and my favorite restaurant may not be in every single city, but I did just find out there's a restaurant in Newport Beach, California called Rusty Pelican. And to be honest with you, I mean, what do I usually look for in a great restaurant?
Good ranch.
Well, there's that too. There is that too. Usually, like, I'll be like, if it's got white tablecloths, I like that. And if it's got good bread and butter, unfortunately.
Okay. Carb loading.
Yeah, carb loading. And good salad. But ambiance. I mean, for me, growing up in California and by the beach for a while, Rusty Pelican was on the bay, and it was so good. And so we were just looking, and I don't know if it's the same company, but there's a Rusty Pelican in Tampa.
Yeah, we got to go check that out.
We got to check that one out.
Because that is nice. It sits out on the water. It's really nice.
Beautiful.
In Orlando, for me, it's Rocco's Tacos because it's the same thing. Right. It sits out on a lake.
Yeah.
You can look out, at the sunset, and it's a really, really nice place. So.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's what's going on in the world today. Let's get into the show now. Just got lots of stuff to talk about with our guest today. Jefrey Paul is an entrepreneur. He's an author. He is a motivational speaker. He's an international expert in women's hair restoration and replacement. He continues to assist men and women of all ages with hair thinning solutions. That's why he's on the show today. He's got aid medical centers. He trains thousands of professionals nationwide through his center and his nonprofit organization, Wigs for Kids. We're going to get into all that today. Please welcome to the program, Jefrey Paul, everybody. Hi, Jeff. How are you? So good to have you.
Good to be here. Good to be here with both of you. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Man, it's just a big honor and a privilege for us to have you on today. And I got to say it right off the bat because my mother-in-law was texting me some good questions to ask today. But she said to make sure that I give you her best today. So Jody's mom, Sharon, says hi. And we sure do love having you on the show today.
You know, one of the most wonderful experiences was doing their hair up in their room for their wedding. That was an exciting time with the two of them because they're just such a motivational couple.
Yeah. Well, let's get into what you're doing now. How's everything been going through COVID for you?
Well, it really changed the course of things for everybody. There's no norm anymore, and we're all looking for that new norm. And we put it back together. We had to go through the disinfectants, and we had to do we went to the medical level because we do deal with clients with scalps and other issues. Our biggest challenge in the COVID is our kids from the Wigs for Kids organization because the factories closed all over the world.
Oh my goodness.
And because the factory closed, and when we make a hairpiece, all hand done, one hair at a time, all the virgin ponytails we bring in, it takes anywhere normally 12 to 14 weeks. They closed down, and now we have really been challenged to find a solution to be able to provide those children, a shortcut to get them their hair, because you imagine going back to school. If they go back to school with no hair,
Yeah.
they're going to go back with no smile, and we don't allow that.
Well, let's back up just a little bit and give people who are in our audience that are maybe not familiar with what we're talking about. And I guess we kind of did jump the gun a little bit, but, because we are very familiar with what you're doing. But can you explain to us exactly what the foundation and the organization does?
Yeah, if I can start in the beginning, it was almost 40 years ago, believe it or not. I had less white hair and ended up relating to my niece, which was part of my youth ministry that I was working with. One day she came into my spa because I was doing the celebrities, presidents of the United States, runway models. It was, that was a life of a hairdresser, and now to hit that level of success and enjoyment. But she came running into the salon and said, "Uncle Jeff," with tears coming down her eyes, she said, "Uncle Jeff, don't let me lose my hair. I have," and she couldn't even pronounce the word, but it was leukemia. Mm-hmm. And her father came around the corner and said, "Jeff, she has leukemia," and a brand new drug came out because cobalt was the treatment prior. It was chemotherapy. It was a wonder drug at that point, but it had a side effect of hair loss. She says, "Uncle Jeff, promise me." And she grabs both of my, shoulder and arms and says, "Promise me I won't go without hair. I want to be in a competition, a gymnastic competition." Well, of course, being a hairdresser, I thought I could do anything. And I said, "Yes, don't even worry about it. I'll cover you." Well, 40 years ago, there were no such things as wigs for children, the size and the shape, let alone something that would stay on through all the gymnastic competition and all the things that they go through. But I promise. And when you promise a child, you keep your promise at all costs. We had to put together from the Cleveland Clinic and a prosthetic company and a wig company, all the background that I had from working in Europe and learning how to make wigs, on how to make this unique, one-of-a-kind prosthetic. So all I was going to do is make one, and it was for her. Well, fast story, shorter. She ended up getting her hair pieced the night before her competition. She ran around the salon. It was really exciting. But we didn't know how it was going to stay on. And what was heartbreaking, Brent, was the fact that, could you imagine in a gymnasium with all her peers and all these people, that she go through one of the exercises and a wig comes flying off of her head because she looked so cute. She looked like herself, didn't look like she, of course, had a wig on. That was the objective. Well, we go through all the apparatus. My wife and I are there in trepidation and in prayer, and she gets through everything, and it stayed on until the last event. And the last event is like the Lou Retton famous run on the mats, jump off of the trampoline and over the horse. And she looks at me, and I can see it this very moment that I'm sharing with you. She looks at me eyeball to eyeball. I can see her from the floor. She makes connection with me. She takes off. For me, everything stopped. Everything stopped. My breathing stopped. And she hits the trampoline, goes over the horse. It stays on. She slaps her sides and gives me a thumbs up in the audience. And I'm crying like a little baby. As an Italian, it's easy for me to do, but this was really an emotional moment. From that point, that very moment, I heard God's voice say to me, "I'm going to take your talent that I've given you to make beautiful people, runway models, presidents, all these other celebrities, beautiful, and I'm going to teach you how to make beauty from the inside out." Now, I didn't understand that. I, taught classes and teach classes and wrote books on hearing God's voice and how to journal. But that moment really shook my world. And literally within 2 months, my entire salon was wiped out, 6,000 square foot. Every penny I could have borrowed and put in was wiped out by sewage backup from the city. It was called an act of God because of a storm. Could not get any insurance money. And I mean, we were mortgaged to the hilt on this thing. And I just kept listening to that voice. And then 3 days later, I got all my staff positions and jobs and places to work to take care of the clients. And my wife and I said, "It's time. We're going to do this full time." And so we went into a small little salon at that point and opened up the first hair replacement center. Well, that is chemotherapy. There was women losing their hair. And again, remember, Laura, one little girl wig, but this was for profit. This was the other part of it, was for women that were losing their hair in many different reasons. But then the day came that we were getting calls from kids, more kids. And I got a client that came in, and I think you'll like this. She had the same colored hair as your wife, Jody. And she was sitting there. She was sitting on the hair, Jody. She was sitting on her hair. She was that long, beautiful, never had cut it. College girl, came in with her mother who consulted with me. And the mother's telling me how she loves her hair and she wants to look like her. But she wanted to get her hair before she lost it. So we were going to make a wig. And when we were all done with that, the young girl says to me, Mr. Paul, I want to give my hair to my mother. Well, that brought the waterfalls down again. And when God is kind of tapping on the door, knocking.
Yeah.
And because there's such a sophistication of what has to go on, Brent, to be able to put virgin hair into a hairpiece, it's not that easy. But I said yes again. I said yes. So we cut the ponytails off and we did it. It was a very big challenge, but we did it. And from that point, I knew that we needed to open a nonprofit organization that would take care of children, never realizing that we would, spans the globe of ponytails that come from all over the world, from Dubai, from Cleveland, from Kentucky, from all over, and that we would serve hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children completely free, never charge, never will, and provide them products and education and motivation and inspiration, and always touch that little heart of theirs to give them a smile so they can look themselves and live their life with that smile.
Our guest today is Jefrey Paul. He is the founder and president of the Hair and Scalp Specialists and Wigs for Kids, a nonprofit organization, as you can tell, is making a huge impact in our world today. Now, the questions that I just kind of sprung to mind while you were talking there, are the wigs adjustable? I mean, as they grow, do they grow with them, or how does that work? Or do they have to keep getting new ones?
It's a prosthetic. It's so much more sophisticated than it's all hand done, and it has a supply of ability for them to attach it. Remember the gymnastics, but no, it only lasts about a year. It would cost the child about $4,000 or $5,000 if they would go to a private practice to get this kind, and they probably couldn't get virgin hair. That just wouldn't be really possible because it's hard to get. It's a supply and demand. We provide that for them every year, Brent, for free, because a cancer patient may only need one, but an alopecia is going to have hair loss the rest of their life. So we've got kids from 2 years old to 18 years old that we've provided every year a brand new hairpiece with the support of the ponytails, the support of the financial donations, and by the grace of God to be able to give us that ability to continue to put smiles on.
Now, obviously, some of them have to be coming in so distraught, having to even face something like that, just like your niece. Are there things that you're doing to kind of make this, I don't know if fun's the right word, but, palatable maybe for somebody who's going to go through that?
That's a really good question, because again, as you know me, the inspirational part, the spiritual part is just as much of an impact because their self-esteem is crushed. We've got them coming in, Brent, they're coming in with their head down. They won't look at us. They won't look in the mirror. They feel so broken. And then when you coach them through it, and we do make it fun, we're even talking about doing a TikTok program so that we can get them, participant in that. And because that's their new buzz out the platform. But in turn, when you turn them around, that smile explodes. I mean, it explodes in their face. The head comes up, the posture changes. They want to talk now, and they wouldn't talk before. And I can get most anybody to talk like you can as an interviewer. But the reality is, it is amazing. The transformation of those children. And then, we just celebrated a anniversary, a 1 year anniversary. One little girl that had gone from 2 years old, got married, went to college, got married. I was did her hair for her wedding, her wig, because she's alopecia. And she has gone on to be an incredible woman that has done incredible things. And I won't go into the full details, but it's that kind of change of life that people think that the hair is what's important. And I keep saying this is a quote that I always believe is important. The hair is not attached to the follicle only. It's attached to the self-esteem, the spirit, the mind. All of that is impactful. And the hair just helps us frame it. And Michelangelo got a quote that you'll like. He said, if you have a masterpiece, and we know everything God's made is a masterpiece, but the frame is not correct, you lose the masterpiece. And I've used that even when I was doing models and fashion people and all the celebrities. That always was my kind of my mindset to say, you've got to frame them so they look beautiful from the inside out.
All right, let's shift gears for a second, and then we'll come right back to this. But now you're also doing things for men and women who are just starting to have thinning hair. And tell us a little bit about that. What have you discovered, and and how is that working?
Well, done we have a whole. I've designed a series of design specialties for men, women, and children, but for the hair replacement, that it's not just a hairpiece, wig, or toupee. They're very sophisticated. Like if a woman had hair thinning, their hair comes through the hair system along with the hair that's integrated into it. And we do extensions, and we do men's hair system, all of which that stay on 24/7 for a month at a time. So they're attached medically, so that they live, they wake up with hair, they feel their hair. The other part of our division of our business is trichology. And trichology is a study. And we work with a laboratory in Italy. It's Sessa Ragazzi. And they are amazing. They got the incredible connection with the college there that is a research college. And we have a process to do the examination of 7 different treatment tools that go on and test into a software program that says, if Brent, you were sitting there, your perfect hair scalp plan is this.
Oh, wow.
And it's followed blueprint, laser light therapy, massage therapy, topicals, all the things that go there, nutritional supplements like transdermal patches. It's a very sophisticated level. It's not like you see on TV, buy some shampoo and it's going to grow your hair. And the woman sitting there, look, I grew hair. That is so false. But, people follow it because they want hair so bad. Again, not because they just want the hair. They want that feeling of beauty or handsomeness from the inside out.
Sure. Now, I'm sure there are people that are wanting to get information about that. I know people that are facing thinning hair all the time, and they are like that. They try every gimmick that they can see. Where can they find more information about that?
If they go to our website, which is the Jefrey Paul Hair and Scalp Specialists, there's all of the videos and testimonies, but also the explanation of trichology, showing you how the treatment goes on, how the examination goes on. But I also have a university that's trained people all over the United States to do that and do all of the elements because they're utilizing our design. So they would go to the website, put their interest in, let us know that they're interested from whatever state they're in, and we can help either connect them or service them and really get them at least whatever help they need.
And so I believe that's hairscalp.com, I believe is what's coming up on the screen right now. Hairscalp.com. You can also get involved in wigsforkids.org, and there's also all of the social media outlets of Jefrey Paul. Our guest is Jefrey Paul, the founder of Wigs for Kids and the Hair Scalp Institute. Jeff, let me just ask you this. How often are you having rallies, or how are you raising funds to keep the organization going? And how could people get involved in that?
That's a great one because we have an Adopt-A-Kid program. So you can actually participate in a $19 a month process to take that child. Because remember, it's not just that 1 year, it's an ongoing basis. We have people that do fundraisers online, which is really fun for the birthday. They challenge everybody. Or the ponytail donations are so valuable to us. I mean, it picks up almost 25% of the cost of making these prosthetics. And many times they challenge their aunts, their uncles, their brothers or sisters. For every inch, put $10 down. And so they run a complete campaign for us at that point. And we have two virtual, because of the pandemic, we have 2 virtual events coming up this year that is going to be nationwide. And it's going to be done, live stream. And we'll have that on our webpage at Wigs for Kids on the dates and everything else coming up in the fall.
That's so awesome, Jeff. I mean, an organization like this that's making I was a youth pastor for 20 some years, and to hear some of the stories that you're telling today, it just means so much because the future, as these kids grow up with the right self-esteem, it just gets brighter and brighter with that kind of attitude. Let me just ask you this before we let you go. I know that you've started off telling us about all the things that you've had to change. There's people out there that are watching today that have had to really just do even probably more changing than that because maybe they lost their job or they're going through some kind of transition right now. Could you just speak to everybody, just something encouraging that helped you kind of maybe come through all these changes that you've had to go through?
Be ready for change and embrace it. I think that's absolutely the timing of the Lord. I actually reinvented and reintroduced renewingyou.network.com to have a body, mind, soul, spiritual uplifting for people. It's on the website, but it's really important that everybody's ready for change because this is the best time to change. We talk about change, but we're not ready for change. And what happens, and I wanted to illustrate this real quick for you, if we're holding on to what was and we're trying to reach for what is, we're beginning a tug of war between our lives, and it's a frustration, and it's a stretching, and it's a pain. But if we do as Philippians chapter 3, 12 through 14 says, let go, forget what's behind you now, and strive to the new goal forward in front of you, you will find a success of abundant life. And I really want your audience to hear that. You've had some incredible sharers on your interviews, and they've all had the same message, it seems like. Get ready for change, embrace change, and don't let the change bother you. Embrace it and enjoy it.
Our guest has been Jefrey Paul of the Wigs for Kids Foundation. He has been the stylist to presidents, celebrities, and as you could tell, wig maker to some very special people that have grown up and are now making an impact for the world today. Jeff, we're so grateful that you took the time to come and be on our program today. We pray nothing but the best for you and for the organization moving forward. And we're going to put it up on the screen one more time. If you'd like to get involved, it's hairscalp.com or wigsforkids.org. If you'd like to reach out on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, it's Hair Scalp Specialists. And on Twitter and YouTube, it is at Restoring Hair. We'd love for you to make that contact with them and reach out to them, especially if you have questions how to get involved, or maybe for yourself. They're really warm-hearted folks that are going to reach right back out to you to try and get the information into you. Jeff, thank you again so much for coming on the program. Give your wife and your kids our best. And as like I said, Bob and Sharon, and for Jody and I, we say we love you and we appreciate you and can't wait to see you again.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Jody. You take care and be blessed.
All right, you too. That's Jefrey Paul, everybody. Wow, what a great organization they've got going on there, and it's just such a inspirational thing to hear what they've got going on there. I mean, it's just, I could have sat and listened to him tell stories all day. Man. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the program today. We're so grateful for Jeff for coming by. Friday, we've got a great show planned for you again. I've got Tim Redmond, who is the founder of the Redmond Growth Consultants out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, is going to be with us. And then looking ahead to the weekend, we pray that you are going to have a really special 4th of July program, or not program, but day. Be careful, use wisdom. I know that we've got a ton of fireworks, and we do a big kind of show right in front of my grandfather's house up on a hill in Kentucky here, kind of like the whole city can see us. It's not like we can't see everybody else's, but everybody can see our fireworks because it's up on a hill, and we're looking forward to that. So get out there, have a good time this weekend, use wisdom, be careful, wear your masks when you go out. It's not a political statement. It's not going to necessarily protect you as much as it's going to protect everybody else from you. So use your masks. Get outside and break the cabin fever. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you Friday.